Time of recording is 8:35 a.m. and 11:20:21. I want to give a special thanks to everyone who tuned into the week-long miniseries that I did. Like, it's crazy. Y'all actually watch my shit. Like, I assumed I'd be like the caster, throw my stuff on. It would only get like three or two views, when that's mostly like us going back into the video, making sure like the top fold is right, everything looks okay. But not like a decent amount of people came out to see the videos that I dropped. So I want to say, if when it balances out and I don't get as many viewers, I want to say I deeply appreciate you guys giving your time to hear me talk about really nothing. And another point I want to bring up, comment below what you want to hear me talk about, because it's not necessarily anything crazy that I'm talking about up until this point. So from now on, if you want to hear some, comment. And shout out to bro who commented earlier. I see you, bro. But as I said, up until now, it wasn't anything crazy I'm talking about. I'm turning off monetization for this video as we discuss all the injustices that's been going on in the judicial process. One of the main things I want people to comment on and open a discussion about is civil rights, because growing up in the community that I grew up in, I never really got the opportunity to see what was going on. I knew it was injustices because I was black, but I never really got that sit down talk. So I always feel very ill prepared to talk about these topics, and I feel like I should have done much more research before hopping in and using this platform to speak. But I just see, all too often, I'll scroll through the same media platforms I scroll through and not see any creators, even any black creators, talking about the subject. When news starts to roll in and things start to ramp up, I know that we see like things that come in from a week ago, 3 days ago, etc. But I wanna talk about it as it came out. Like, as of this morning, there's still news coming in from open cases that are being unfolded. So, by the grace of God, I want to thank everything that Julius Jones got his death sentence canceled. And it's like a damn shame that he wasn't able to even touch his mother for like the past 22 years. And up until an hour before he was going to die, he never would have been able to touch her again. Which is fucked up, of course, but it's also looking like we'll have everything stacked up against the people who killed Ahmaud Arbery, and those people will walk free as well. But it's not looking good for them, thank God. However, what I'm most worried about is this Kyle Rittenhouse case. When I found out about this, I was just like, heard about it from a coworker, and it was like, I can't believe that it's looking like this kid is gonna get off. I said, what happened? She said a security worker had killed two people at a protest, or had just traveled across state lines and killed two people. I was more concerned that like the people were dead at the time, until then I looked into it and saw that it were like, I believe two white people were murdered and one was heavily injured. The main point that people are like bringing up is how white vigilantes will be seen in further justice systems, or how they feel like they'll get off unfair treatment. But part of me worries that it runs deeper than that. Of course, they will have like thought in the back of their minds that they will be able to leave these situations unscathed by legal punishment. But I feel like the justice system is damn near using iconism for using Kyle Rittenhouse as a figurehead against Black Lives Matter protesters. Like, if we were to start more protests in major cities again, we would be deterred from doing so because there might be some vigilante or someone who feels like they have the right to open fire or act as a police officer. You can even see in how it's presented in the above fold of Google searches like Kyle Rittenhouse's legal pursuit to happiness is America's dot dot dot. I didn't want to type out the whole thing. So with that said, it's hard to see how many people are going to stand with the Black Lives Matter movement, knowing that it's a very likely possibility that there's going to be more open fires of live rounds on peaceful protesters. Personally, I didn't. I saw that how protests in the past were treated, and that if we were to unionize and assist the movement in a different way, we could probably have a better outcome. So I wasn't really in a rush to do protests. I know I feel like a coon as much as I sound like one repeating that, but it's like people who have nothing to do with the protests were able to just go in there and get a free check or incite riots and probably get money under the table from the county police department. But it's kind of scary that they would leave bricks and shit on like street corners of major cities and major high traffic areas that protesters would be, almost as if it was there strictly for ammunition for protesters to turn into riots. Like there's no construction at all. You would just see like random piles of bricks walking around, which is crazy. But what if it's like ammunitions type shit? Just leaving automatic rifles. I don't even want to do the rest of the episode because I feel like that speech about Black Lives Matter was awful. And I feel like I should do better. Which is why I would really enjoy it if someone would open the conversation to, if someone would open the conversation to civil rights. I know I should do my own research into it, but it's always just getting put off to me. Sometimes when I look into it, I feel like I'm just weaponizing myself in the argument to prove that my life matters to someone who's conservative. So I never really feel inclined to go out of my way to do that. But I know how important it is to do it. So I'm kind of just like stuck. There's not much else to say. I didn't have any. Of recent, I came up on. Like, there's other civil rights things going on in my city that I am versed to talk about. But I didn't want to just leave this unaddressed. I want to say, fortunately, I overcame something that has been plaguing me for damn near years, whole life, if you want to take it like that. But it's in a therapy session, so I'm glad that happened, and I can't wait to talk about that in a more like lighthearted episode. However, I want to keep this around civil rights. If people are here to listen to a civil rights conversation, I want to just like change and start cracking jokes again. So this is gonna be a much, much, much shorter episode, uncensored, unfiltered, just like posted type shit. Of recent, there's been a lot of like in my city. There's been a lot of migrate. In my city, there's been a lot of migration from a major city that I live in. That I live in the vicinity of to my city. And the rumor is that these are the people of this city that it's not Kansas City, but we're just gonna call it Kansas City. People who are migrating from Kansas City to my hometown has the people that have been migrating from Kansas City to my hometown has of Rupert been like street toughs and pushers that couldn't make it in Kansas City, so they wouldn't go from Kansas City to my hometown. From what they do there is they enact on whatever it is they do. I'm not here to speak on that. I'm not here to like demonize them, but people around us are kind of looking at it as like, oh man, the city's getting so bad. I can't wait to leave. And people aren't really like trying to help the city at all. I don't really like the city either, but it's like my city. Do I run? So I'm conflicted. Do I either run from it or keep fighting? And it's crazy because I was just talking to this person from one state over, and they mentioned the fact that, oh yeah, it used to be nice, but 5 years ago we got a lot of people from this. We got a lot of people who came in and started raising, well, the same thing that's being rose in my city. So I noticed that trend and was just like, hey, by any chance are these people from Kansas City? She said, yeah, they are. It's insane because it's not even just happening in my city. And she's been saying that over the past 5 years, it's only gotten worse. So where I'm happy that the city's finally gonna. What else is about to go down? I'm also kind of worried about gentrification in my city. It wasn't predominantly black before, but my God, are they fixing it up at an alarming rate? They added like a probably multi-million-dollar bridge. I don't know how much the bridge costs because like I don't care, but it's been in construction for like a year and a half, and it finally got done. And since we're in a college town, they would only really do construction in the summer, like exclusively in the summer, where like the census drops significantly. However, they're still fixing roads and adding new like plazas and like surpluses of buildings. So I feel like once the property value lowers, they're gonna like buy up everything and flip it. And it's fucked up because like the which is and flip it to white people, which is what essentially gentrification is because as well as we don't really have many businesses that are historically black owned. I'm gonna say like if you're trying to figure out where I lived, you probably already know because you probably know me personally if you're listening right at the moment because I'm not working on discovery like that. In this state that we live in, there are no, like, there's not many black owned businesses. I don't even want to bring that up as a talking point. What I was going to say as a talking point because it could give off the wrong impression. However, I feel like there aren't enough black owned businesses that are more significant than black cosmetics to say. We got a lot of barber shops, we got a lot of salons and stuff, but we gotta take it a step better, a step further. Which isn't any shade. I got mad respect to what everyone's doing. I feel like if we're gonna like stop the level of gentrification that's gonna happen within the next 5 years, we gotta take that matters into our own hands. I know that I'm stationed. My black-owned business is stationed in this city, so that's fortunate. In related news to that, I also got the first of 3 publications into the newspaper for my DBA. As soon as that goes live, I am getting the store up that day. So look at like December 10th. I forgot what else I was going to say. It likely was not important. I'm about to end the episode here. If I can't think of anything else to talk about, I'm gonna just end it right here, right now. No, the main real estate firm, the main real estate firm that is selling these properties to these new plazas and likely white owned, presumed white owned. I could look into it, but you could too. That's a call to action to go do that. The main real estate firm, I think, is black owned. It's a 50-50 chance of it being black owned because I know that the old my Dukes, who's always said, "Oh yeah, I have this venue because my grandfather is a owner of a really established real estate firm out here." That real estate firm is like the main pusher of the people who are entering these new plazas. I don't know if this person's what the race of this person is. He's either a person of color or he's like a white person. Not that it matters, he's just doing his own job, but what if I was like an elderly, an old head just like pushing buildings to people who are trying to gentrificate some kids' home. It really eats at me that morally this would be what would happen in a real estate firm. However, you got to look at these kids who are also doing the state property, who are also buying property that was owned by the state because people weren't able to pay the taxes on the property and buying it at a low cost and flipping those houses. It's giving me the same type of energy of using like circumstances to influence your wealth and power, but shit. If I get tractions for talking about this topic, aren't I doing the same thing? You really just get into a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I'm sorry that this was all over the place and really short. I really don't know what else to say.